So let's talk about finance in startups, right? I mean, it's a topic that a lot of people don't think about all the time. But especially as our collective, we realize that, it's not how much money you make that's important, but it's the cash flow that's important, right? When you think about it, like what's important for you in finance? When you run a startup?
We're talking about cash flow management, because when I think of finance, finance is a very broad term.
Yeah.
Very, very broad term.
Yeah.
And honestly, finance in startups, I think you did as well, right? 3 to 4 years in uni doing a uni degree in finance. I have a degree in finance as well. And like the things we do, right? I would say probably only 10%, 5 to 10% applies to a startup.
Yes.
Everything else, right? No, you just don't use it. But I have to say that the mindset it gave when it comes to thinking about a company's valuation and all that, that helped, right? But the actual deliverables, because what they teach is us valuing public companies where the data is all over the place.
Yes.
But now when it comes back to startups, we have no data, no projections, no numbers, nothing. It's all just from our head, projecting numbers out. And for us to do that, we just need to understand projection, understand how to think, and understand how to use Excel, for example.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and cash flow management, right? We were talking about cash flow management. I think cash flow is a very interesting topic because we've been through this, right? We're literally going through it ourselves as well. Make some money. It was not hard to make money, right? Make some money. What's hard is how do we then invest this money somewhere else and grow different initiatives, right? What are the key decisions or key thought processes we have in place before making these investment decisions? I think these are very, very important topics because it's a make or break. You either stay at your current size for the rest of your life, or you grow, or you die, right? And for me, I am from the school of thought where there's only three ways everything can span out, right? You grow and you become super big, or you die, okay? Or you stay as a living dead, just like that, hovering like that. And for me, I always want to do the first and the second option, which is you grow or you die ASAP. I want to find out if I'm going to grow or die ASAP. I wouldn't want to be in a living dead situation for long.
So when you're talking about finance, even for us, right? I think yes, okay, you have to make money, you have to spend the money, and you have to manage how you spend it, right? And to make sure you have good cash flow and all that. The thing where I was thinking was really more about hacking growth of a company through finance. And I think we spoke about this before, which is using the power of leverage, right? So now, if you think about it, because there are a few dilemmas I face in a startup, right? Do you spend all the money you have just to grow, right? Or do you let me take it safe, let me save a bit. How can finance really help a startup grow actually?
Oh, finance is everything, right? Because at the end of the day, finance, when you say finance, I mean cash flow. Cash flow is everything. Without cash flow, you don't have a business. You are just a self-employed dude working yourself, right? But with money, you can start leveraging the help of people, tools, templates.
How do you get money if you cannot grow the business? How do you grow the business without money?
There's only 2 ways, right? Debt or equity. Two ways. You either go to a bank and mortgage your house or something like that, right? And that's one. Another one would be to
pumping your money.
Pumping your own money, right? That's where your equity comes in. Yes. And that's another way also is to raise funding.
Okay, basically get investment, whether it's from yourself or from people, right? So you can get debt or equity, that's it, right?
Get equity, get investment. Can be in form of cash or sweat equity as well when you get a co-founder with you.
No, but so let's say from the finance perspective, it's really just debt or equity if you think about it. The issue is, and if you know, in for most banks, they don't give debt to startups, right? Because they're so new. So that's why you have to get investment. But investment is difficult because now we live in a climate where investors are so cautious, they get burned all the time and they lose money all the time. So
no, if we talk about that first, right? Getting a loan from the bank for an early stage tech startup with zero assets.
For any early stage company, it doesn't matter. 3 years, less than 3 years, you can't.
3 years, less than 3 years. Some companies, I mean, if you have a solid track record,
more than 3 years, whatever, more than 3 years.
Not necessarily.
3 years is a logical number where banks say they need back 3 years, 2 years, whatever, of track record before they even consider you.
No, but if you're making a shit ton of money, you're making
Okay,
good.
yeah, no, if you're making a lot of money, I mean, I'm not sure, but I do hear that banks say, oh, yeah, less than 3 years now. Sorry, that's our regulation. That's that, right? No,
No,
of
no,
course,
I
if
believe
you're,
no. I researched this before. Some of the banks, they actually give out some special thing to startups,
Yeah,
right? Where you,
yeah.
but the thing is, you need to be able to declare everything properly and be audited and all that.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. No, so
What
I
you
think
do.
ultimately, it's a case by case basis. Also, you're right.
Oh, but then again, you don't only. I have a friend. You know him as well, right?
Yeah,
He gets loans from his family members.
yeah,
You don't always need to go to a bank.
yeah, lah. It's just investment, lah. Basically,
No,
it's
it's a
investment.
loan.
Yeah,
a loan
loans
from people
No,
where-
but it's a loan, yes, but it's not exactly a loan because these
It is
are
a loan.
people who would never give you investment in their own right mind, but because they are family members, they give you.
Correct. So it's yes, it's going to your FFFs, your friends, family, and fools.
Yeah.
But the financial instrument, the financial vehicle is very different.
It's still-
One is
okay.
it's still a loan, right? They
Yeah,
give you
yeah.
100K.
Yeah.
They expect you to repay them, for next 10 years, right? Repay them 8% every single year.
Okay.
And then cover their capital in the final year. It's still a
No,
loan.
makes sense. One thing though is okay, that's on just getting money in, lah, okay, but how do you manage that money in a startup, right? So when you talk about resource allocation, something very important, whether you got 100,000 in the bank or you got 1 million in the bank, what's the way to allocate your resources properly in a startup?
That's all that okay, obviously you need to have your buffer, right? Your cash in bank of 3 to 6 months or to 1 or 2
Okay,
years.
have a
that kind of
cash
thing.
buffer,
Cash
yes.
in bank, you always need that. Either you go all out and keep that money, or you say, okay, I keep 10% of my savings every. It's like personal finance, right? Keep
Yeah,
10% of
yeah.
savings every month for your next month.
Yes,
kind of thing,
yes,
right?
yes.
That's one. Another angle is operational. You've made sales, you've done this, done that. Now you need to serve your sales, right? Let's say you sell a course. You got people paying you money. Now you need to hire your mentors. You need to hire your operational guys, your community managers, your business development people to serve your students, help your students do the best they can do, their jobs for your students, right? There's that operational roles that you cannot run away from.
Yeah, yeah.
You hire people, you have to allocate cash flow for that. Now, either you run out of cash flow by now, or you have a lot more cash flow, right? Let's just say you have a lot more cash flow and operational stuff is just like 10-20% of your budget,
Yeah,
right? Now
yeah.
you have a lot more money. What do you do with it? You could save some of it into your bank, cash in bank, or start making investment decisions. See how you can explore. In fact, take 10% of your budget, put it into like something more risky, another startup, put it into cryptocurrencies, put it into something, right? The rest of the business, you make investment decisions, and this extra budget. So if you split your budget, your budget into half, right?
Yeah.
Half of it will be to operational and serving your sales, right? That you can't run away from this. It's operational. Done.
Yeah.
The other 50%, we need every single ringgit in this 50%, right, to grow more than 1 ringgit wherever you put it in, right? So the
Besides
NPV has to be more than
your
1.
R&D, right?
Yeah.
I know it's like Apple, tech companies, Huawei, they were famous for spending a big chunk of their, I think 5-6% of their entire budget on R&D. And that was the key drivers for their success in the long term, right? Putting in long-term R&D initiatives that actually don't make sense in the beginning, but pretty long term. Then of course, yes, your short-term operational stuff. I like how you're going on this. So basically, if you can allocate resource for startup, for any company, but even as a startup, right? You need to have your operational money to run the business. Should startup invest in the long term?
Definitely, right? Then the question is this: if your own startup is so damn good, right? Why don't you pump your remaining 50% of your budget into your own startup? Why are you going and diversifying everywhere? Why are you investing everywhere else?
Yeah. A startup is, some startups say, hey, I believe in this idea. I want to invent flying cars. It's such a crazy idea. It doesn't make money in the beginning. I dump in all my money. I spend all the money in just one long-term game. That's a startup,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I would say Hacker Collective is not a startup. Hacker Collective is a startup incubator. We're actually slightly different. We don't dump all our money into one single vision and focus on it. But for most people out there who are starting a business, whether they're starting a burger stall or something, some businesses are just, I'm long term from the beginning. Give me all this money, I raise investment, and I just do that thing for long term. Another one is I'm selling chicken rice. I need money now and I make money fast. That's it.
No, even if you run a chicken rice store, right? I believe they have big profits as well. Okay, look at these guys. They make a lot of money, right?
So it's all short-term money.
Same thing. What do you do with the extra money? Do you keep in your bank? Do you invest it into
no.
stock?
So that kind of scenario, right? Is whatever the investors of that business choose to do.
Correct.
Right.
So
So they may choose to invest in some research into chicken recipes, whatever it is, right? That's long term. But some businesses, my point being is, they have huge runway. They're purely just long term plays, right? And so they don't make money. If I'm inventing a flying car now, I will not make money.
This conversation about a business in general? What do they do with their cash flow? Is this business directed towards startups with no money now?
It's directed towards small business owners, people who start a business,
with
right?
Money, right?
And some businesses, they don't make money upfront. They're long-term plays.
These are usually your tech startups.
Yeah.
Most businesses, I would
money.
argue, make money straight away. Like if you open a restaurant, open a Dobby.
That's traditional business, yes.
They always make money upfront.
Yes.
Open a salon, right? You will make money upfront. It's you find out within a month already. And you're not innovating on anything. There's nothing to prove. Everyone needs a haircut. Anyone needs to eat. So
I think a lot of startups are those that don't make money upfront.
Tech startups, you mean?
Yeah,
the scalable startups, right?
Yes,
because you're trying to prove something. You're trying to prove something, whatever it is.
You're building an asset. You're building initial product, and it takes time to build a product. You don't make money on it, right?
You need to prove that that idea works as well. If I do a Tinder app for pets, probably no one's going to use it, right? I can spend 10 years building it, but no one's going to use it. So the idea is, how can I iterate and validate my idea fast enough with the existing cash flow that I have?
Is finance that straightforward? Okay, so I think that's it, right? I mean, when you just talk about it, you're talking about resource allocation, talking about firstly getting in money through debt or equity, and then you allocate your resources well, putting in short term.
We haven't even gone into valuation side of things. That's a whole full topic.
I mean, if you're running a chicken rice shop, there's no valuation.
Of course, there is a valuation. There's valuation to everything.
True. Actually, true. You're right. There is valuation. I think one thing I want to just ask is really fundamentally, right? If you're putting in money into something, I always believe one person says that you put money into your business, right? If you end up paying a lot of salaries, right, and those people leave, you just lost all that money.
Exactly.
You just lost the money like that, right?
Correct.
A lot of times they say people are your biggest asset. But no, because assets don't leave you. It's like you spend money buying this table, then next morning the table is gone.
That's a very good point. Yeah,
right.
You're right.
So I'm like, why would you spend
Absolutely.
such money on the table when it can just go any day, right?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
But they say people is your biggest. Okay, I think we can jump to the people topic later as well. But I guess my point is when you're taking money, you should be investing it in really pure hard assets, right? Fundamentally, you should be in pure hard assets that don't.
No, I wouldn't agree fundamentally that you need to invest in pure hard assets, because if that's the case, I'll be buying gold. I'll be
buying assets that don't leave you in the sense, you know what I mean? Like
what are assets that leave you?
Humans.
Humans are not assets. People. It's just
no,
the saying.
That's the saying. Yeah, saying.
It's just a saying. No, there are humans.
And there are times where humans that, and I think it depends. If you invest in someone, a person that builds an asset for you, then you're actually investing indirectly in that asset itself.
Assets by definition, right, is anything that puts money in your pocket and you can sell that thing.
Not put money in your pocket. Anything that has value. That's it. Right?
Would you say anything that has
buying
value?
a gold chain doesn't put money in your pocket. A gold chain can live there for the next 100 years.
Okay, if we're talking the strict definition of assets, right? It's
something that has value, does it?
No, strict definition of assets. You can read up. I still remember I studied this in uni, right? It's anything that gives you positive cash flow every single month.
No, buying a car doesn't give you positive cash flow. In fact, it's negative cash flow.
That's what Robert Kiyosaki very famously said.
No, but it's a depreciating asset. Because if I bought 100 cars now, I'll be 100 times richer. That's it.
Okay, this is a conversation for another
topic.
It's a long convo because you have another school of thought where they say that don't even look at your house as an asset. Your house isn't even an asset. You know why? Because your house takes money out of your bank, right? Unless you're investing in it and renting it out.
I guess I meant the official definition from accounting wise for what an asset is.
Yeah, anything that you can flip in the future for a higher valuation, for
whatever
capital
the
gains.
taxman considers as an asset.
Anything for capital gains, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, cool. So I think that's the brief topic on finance. I think anything else to add on that overview topic?
Finance, I mean, we haven't even gone into the accounting side of things. Should we include that? Because accounting has been a big headache for us. I mean, not managing our books, not managing our P&L. A separate topic, right?
Yeah. Okay, awesome.